Welcome to the Different Perception, a platform where we get to talk about issues affecting society. We don't just talk about issues affecting society, but we actually look at issues from a different perception. That's the whole purpose of the platform. We get to look at issues from the third dimension of view. Today we'll be looking at leadership. Now, looking up the word leadership basically is defined as leading a particular group or an organization. In other words, a closer look at the definition itself brings a number of words to the surface. Words like position. In other words, leadership has to do with a particular position. It also has to do with the word leading or the action of leading, which actually brings to our mind the aspect of followers. So if there is some sort of leading taking place, there must be followers. In other words, leadership brings the idea of having a particular person holding a particular position and having a group of people or an organization looking up to that particular person. It has everything to do with a group of people looking up to a person or looking up to the power, because the position that a person holds has influence, it has power. That's the reason why a particular group of people is so interested and is always looking up to that particular person, hoping for the positive influence to trickle down to their lives. Now, that's the basic definition of leadership. That's how people have basically defined leadership. Now, what are the principles that we find in the definition? The principles that we find in the definition include being in a particular position. It includes leading or having influence over a certain group of people. Now, this afternoon, I want us to redefine leadership. I want us to look at it from a different perception by basically asking ourselves a very important question, and that question is, what is the greatest form of leadership? Just think about that for a minute. What do you think is the greatest form of leadership? I'll give you a minute, but before you, whilst you're thinking about that, allow me to also make mention of the fact that when we talk about position, that's where people talk about things like management, like someone being a manager, someone being the president, someone being a teacher. So these are particular positions that put people in a particular position to exercise leadership. Now, I hope you thought about that, but now let's redefine leadership in a different perception point of view. I will define leadership, I'll actually redefine the greatest form of leadership as given back to society. Now, this does not violate the principle of leadership. The principal definition of leadership is well maintained. Now, what does giving back to society or community imply? It means a particular person doing certain things that impact society in a positive way. In other words, doing certain actions that trickles down happiness to community, which is the followers. Now, the influence, which basically we talked about as the office having some sort of power or influence that must trickle down, is the good work of giving back to community. In other words, the greatest form of leadership is being in a position where you give back to society. Thank you for watching. I hope this video makes some sense. Catch you next time on the same platform. Thank you. Different Perception, the inside platform where we get to talk about different stories that are affecting society. May God bless you. Have a great day.